Hello and welcome to Driven by Speed, round 4 around Zandvoort. Decided just to do post-com on this race because the end of this race gets hectic, to say the least, and honestly might be one of my best league races I've done, definitely on this game. But formation lap coming up in a Ferrari. Teammates down the race and qualifying 7th. I wasn't actually that disappointed with it. I messed up my first sector, and because of that, basically, that nearly locked me into 7th anyway. Because genuinely 6th to 3rd was separated by about a 10th. Then it was Kuda and Vision that were a bit of a standout, about a tenth and a half ahead. With this game, warming up your tyres is a very necessary thing to do. Otherwise, you basically end up losing about the second and a half off the race start. But as you can see, just warming up the tyres. This game, when it comes to its handling system, is a lot different to last year's game, and I kind of like it the way it is currently. The only problem is, at least from what I've experienced, is you touch a curb, or as soon as the car starts going on you, it's gone. There's no recovering it, especially on pad, as Dynamite is looking at some sponsorships on the left hand side there, and but as you saw, on the formation lap, it's actually very easy for you to light up your rears and spin. It doesn't really affect you too much, but sometimes you can lose quite a bit of time. Didn't realise here that Dynamite was coming through because I had the marker for how far away I was from my glitch slot, and absolutely crapped myself because I didn't realise he was coming, and then all of a sudden he says in the party chat, right behind you, and I absolutely carked myself. Parking up onto the grid slot. I like this feature of the game because it does actually make it feel a bit more immersive, being able to park yourself up, and you can actually adjust the angle that you want to be at for the start, which is a thing we've never had the option to do before. So you can sort of like plan ahead even with stuff like that. But anyway, 4, 5, just lights out. I get a terrible start, and so does down the racer beside me. See the outside's open, so I decided to go for it. The Prezzo brothers of Prezzo and Orphan Drop, or Jack, were having internet problems, so you'll just see his AI around the spot as I overtake Dynamite around the outside and then try to set up the move on Prezzo's AI. And for people that have done my team, you know the AIs are absolute bastards to overtake. As you can see here, I just get completely run around the outside by I think a level 100 AI, and that bruised my ego a bit, so I decided to send it, get a warning because I didn't want to bloody clot into it, and I ended up doing that anyway, and then Dynamite's able to follow through around the outside. Very decent move, but as you can see, Vision ramp second ahead because of that. So I now need to catch that up, which I'm able to do pretty quickly because Kuda and Ramp sort of have a mini tussle and they end up slowing themselves down, so I'm able to catch up to Vision. And as you can see already kind of by the map, it's going to be basically a 5-way battle for the lead, as Prezzo's AI is holding up down the racer and vice versa, as I believe that's Tim has just spun, and Vision tries to go around the outside of Ramp, makes a bit of contact. I thought at that point that might have given him damage, so I was looking for a way through there. Good thing about turn 3 is you can take a lot of different lines and they're all considered the right line, but as you can see, got the run on Vision. He wasn't using the RS obviously. I was like, screw it, I'll try to go around the outside on a corner you really don't overtake, and Vision just runs himself out wide, taking the natural corner, and ends up holding P3. But by the end of lap 3, DRS is active, and I basically just decided to watch what was going to happen, and a 3 wide moment happens right in front of me as Dynamite behind me says the fastest lap, and Vision is just able to take P2 and start his charge on Kuda for the lead, and he does so pretty quickly. By about lap 5 he's already ahead, and is starting to breach the gap as I'm trying to get past Ramp, and I thought I got a good enough exit, but Ramp and Kuda and even Vision were running what seems like really low downforce setups, so I wasn't able to out-drag them on the straights, which was really annoying for me at the time because I felt like I had the pace to keep up with Vision as a virtual safety car gets deployed, and the Delta, God knows what happened, the Delta just decides, you know what, you're 4 seconds faster than what you should be, and we basically have to come to a stop in order for the Delta to work, is the best way to put it, and then all of a sudden go from 4 seconds below Delta to 4 seconds above Delta. So sick, good to know. But trying to keep within my Delta ends up screwing me immensely, because as you can see coming off the end of this corner, I try not to overjudge it, and then I lose about a second to Ramp, and in all of that Vision has gained about a second and a half, which is insane, and basically solidified him for first, at least for this stint. And coming through, Ramp gets sideways yet again. I try to get past him once again, but that straight line speed of that AlphaTauri is just enough, and getting DRS from Kuda is also helping him. Kuda and Ramp were playing a very good team game, and they were able to hold us up pretty damn well, but if you're able to put basically if you're able to get your car in between them, that sort of falls apart, because obviously then they both have different morales of one is trying to overtake you and one's trying to keep you behind, and they can't really hold you out without holding themselves and the other person. As Dynamite tries to go down my inside, I hold it around the outside, and I try to continue my assault on Ramp, but just looking through all the corners, as you can see, I just seem to be so much more confident than Ramp. I say that and then I do run out wide there, but I was looking for any available move that I possibly could on Ramp, and basically lining up every single corner, because I knew as soon as I got past Ramp I could put pressure on Kuda and quite possibly keep Ramp behind me, but I didn't have to worry about Ramp for very much longer, as he, yet again with this game's model, you get sideways and there's no real way of recovering it, so up into the podium position and finally able to just focus on getting Kuda and then being able to stretch that gap. As you can see, I'm basically setting up the move for the straight already, and that's what you kind of have to do for Zandvoort, is stick close enough, which well enough my setup could do, and because of that you're able to stick close, and then you're able to use DRS and at least try to make the overtake. I let go of ERS here, which I really shouldn't have in hindsight, because like I said, the Kuda straight line speed was ridiculous, but I wasn't going to spend another lap behind him, and I send it on the brakes, tiny bit of contact, but I'm finally able to get the move on Kuda and start making my charge against Vision, but Kuda hits the curb and then Dynamite's able to try hang it around the outside, and because of that Kuda near enough loses 2 positions. They're side by side for this entire straight, but you'll see in the rearview mirror Kuda gets slightly tapped onto the grass, and that's just enough to unsettle this car with grass on his tyres, and he ends up into the wall and retiring. And because at the same time on his crook has spun, as Tim gives me a shave, the safety car's deployed, which was great for me because then it meant I had my gap back to Vision and I could focus on trying to re-overtake Vision. Optimal turn in, even though I thought I really overcooked it, and basically from there my main objective was focusing on the restart that was coming in about 3 laps time, and coming up to it now, as you can see, Vision is right there. I don't have to do any work on track, it's just the overtake. And as you can see, I'm really prepping, I'm getting as close as I possibly can to Vision to make sure when he does the jump, I'm right behind him and I'm able to make this move as soon as possible. And I think Vision knows this. So he's trying to do it at the most unpredictable time, which is right here. And as you can see, I do time it, but then I get a slight snap of oversteer and have to let go of the throttle. But as you can see, going down to the first corner, close enough to Vision in the Haas, and he doesn't defend the inside enough. And down the inside, as Dynamite tries making the move on him as well, and successful safety car restart straight down the inside, straight into the lead. And then from there, I had to focus on trying to get a gap, which I did end up doing. I got to about a 2-second gap, but Vision wasn't giving a shit. And 6 laps later, he's on the back of me. Me and Vision have gone from Dynamite, and all of a sudden, what I thought I could have a fairly decent win on my hands gets shrouded, really, and I have to defend for my life against Vision. And as you can see, this is the first lap of 11 laps where he is constantly trying to overtake me, and going on yet again, like just barely able to hold him off. Next lap, there's yellow flags for, I can't remember who at this time, but as you can see, yet again, having to use up all of my ERS just to attempt to keep Vision behind, defending the inside. Vision tries to swoop around the outside, and I run him out wide, just barely keeping him on the track. And that was basically, I was working with such slim margins to try to keep Vision behind, because at this point, Vision was faster than me, and I knew this. And as soon as Vision was get by, I don't have the straight line speed to contend with trying to get the overtake again going into 1. So I'm trying to make it as hard as possible for him. As you can see, 0 ERS, literally down scraping the barrel, and defend the inside. And Vision goes for the switchback, which was really, really smart, because I wasn't expecting him to, but he just barely didn't have enough. Tries to go around the outside of 3, which was a very ballsy try, but I end up just being able to defend the inside, and he can't really make the move stick. So I'm driving down to turn 3, and yet again, Vision doesn't seem to be back at turn 3. Vision doesn't seem to be backing down, and as you can see, I'm having to defend at new places, but I've done enough league races, and I know how to defend an overly aggressive driver. And as you can see, just constantly feeding him the outside, not letting him get the inside, giving him just enough room to breathe, and basically trying to smother any rash attempts he may try. And because of that, I knew that he'd sort of exhausted most of his options for that lap, so I knew I could take it kind of cautious into 1, because I knew he probably wouldn't have too big of an advantage when it comes to ERS after trying so much throughout the lap. But he still has a go into 1, and yet again, feeding the outside, a little bit of a knockout wide, and again, I got a bit of a snap of oversteer there and kind of really rolled into him, but didn't give him damage, didn't force him off the track. Yet again, lap 28, and Vision once again is just all over me. He doesn't give me a lap to breathe, really. And late braking again, Vision tries switchbacking me. I cut it off barely because of the oversteer. And yet again, Vision is just forced to sit another lap behind. But as you can see, he's trying everywhere down the inside of 3, but he can't make that work. Lap 29 again, going on to lap 30, and Vision once again is just close enough to try and make an attempt. But as you can see, I'm using up everything to try and defend this position, never giving him the inside as long as I have a chance, as long as I have a say in. I knew he was going to try switchback me there because he wasn't really alongside for the outside, so I defend the switchback. And he doesn't have a move into 3. But once again, end of lap 30, going on to 31. We've been pulling away from ramp this entire time, so that just shows the speed that Vision was forcing me to go to. But as you can see, this is the first time in 7-8 laps he hasn't had a move on me into 1. So I just took that opportunity to actually take the normal racing line and be able to focus on the flow for that lap, which I tried to end up doing, but I immediately screwed up turn 3 and turn 4 and was just not really getting into that groove that I needed to. end of lap 31, I've made kind of a gap and then screw up the final corner, and Vision gets the run on me. And as you can see, completely out of ERS again. Here comes Vision, yet again forcing him around the outside and making him brake way later than he wants to. Here it is, a bit of a oversteer moment, which gets my car turned, but I think my rear tyre may have tapped Vision's front right, which apologies for, but I can't really do anything about an oversteer moment. But at the end of lap 32, I've got what I thought was a decent enough gap of 0.6, but it actually was decent enough of a gap. And as you can see, Vision isn't actually able to challenge me, or he just chose not to challenge me into one. So once again, able to just take a normal turn one, which I really hadn't had the luxury of doing for this entire stint. But as you can see, on the end of lap 33, I hit the inside curb, I let go of the accelerator because of that, and Vision is yet again really damn close, and once again pull it all the way to the inside. Vision gets the fastest lap, a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, I force him out wide, Bodhod spun, and then yet again this is Vision's best shot he's had. He keeps it side by side through turn 2 and 3, but I'm able to sweep round the outside of turn 4, just having that preferred line, and I'm able to hold on to the lead, but barely. And yet again, Vision is just all over me, and but his entire strategy, I believe at this point, at least through this sector, you can't really overtake through this sector unless you catch him completely off guard. So what he was just making me do is defend wherever possible. I can't really use ERS there, and I'm using up my tyres trying to turn, which was a really smart option. But I believe if Vision went down the inside there, it was over, because I didn't have the ERS and I didn't have the straight line speed, as Lane set to 12.7 just to flex. I didn't have the speed in order to really get an attack back on him. But it seems like he didn't have ERS at that point anyway, because he doesn't actually try to make a move into one. But yet again, I'm just depleted completely on battery. And basically, it was just setting up for a lap 36 move. But as you can see here, what's kind of scoppers Vision's plans is Tim on the softs. As you can see, I get sideways, and basically from this point, Vision is right on the back of me, so I tuck into Tim's slipstream. I have nothing left really, and able to just barely defend the inside. Vision tries to go for a switchback and just barely able to defend it. Meanwhile, whilst all that was happening, Conehouse has retired, but as you can see, front three are separated by 0.6. It's just been an insane last 16-17 laps. There's never been a conclusive winner to the battle. But as you can see, my tyre indicator is orange, so my tyres are kind of cooked. But at the same point, it seemed that Vision had used all of his life as well, because as you can see through here, I'm kind of controlling it better. But as you can see, Vision running out wide, and Dynamite has just been sitting behind pretty impatient, waiting for basically a huge explosion, which me and Vision didn't have. But as you can see, Vision is it just seems like he's struggling on his fronts now. But as we come around the penultimate corner, I believe I had just enough of a gap using all the RS, because why not, it is the last lap. And as you can see, coming to the line, I was barely able to keep Vision behind, but it is my first league race win on this game, and starting it from 7th to end up winning as well was pretty impressive. But that was a very fun league race, and I'll see you next week for the Bahrain Super Sprint. Take care, guys.